This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Trump just keeps playing 4D chess with Democrats, doesn't he? And now he's putting ICE agents into airports across the country in order to alleviate the lines, A, and B, obviously, bring security to airports where some people may not feel very secure with more and more TSA workers calling out. And you can't blame them, quite frankly. Now, we're coming up on 6 weeks where you haven't been paid, where you have a job that doesn't pay a lot in the first place. You're going paycheck to paycheck. And you can only take that for so long when, especially if you're a single parent, for example, and you have mouths to feed and you can't even get gas in your car to get to work. At some point, you got to say, all right, if I'm not going to be paid, I got to go somewhere else where I will get paid. So with TSA workers, there's only so long where you could ask them to sacrifice. I mean, think about how long you would go with your job without being paid in any way, shape, or form. So Trump says, okay, well, ICE, they're funded through 2029 through the big, beautiful bill, so I might as well repurpose some of them into airports. And sure enough, Democrats have gone loco on this, especially Hakeem Jeffries, who's profoundly horrible in interviews. I mean, he's just so bad. Pelosi, I'll give a little bit of credit. She could lie better. And she had a definitive nature to her, even if the words weren't honest. But Hakeem Jeffries always looks like he's in a hostage video. And here he is with, well, Dana Bash, of course. Who else would you run to in these situations? Not just saying that he disagrees with having ICE in airports, but basically just goes right to the part where they're just going to start gunning people down in airports. ICE, federal officers, really, cut 10, go.
3 things that have been true since Donald Trump and Republicans came back into power last January. Life is more expensive, life is more chaotic, and life is more extreme. The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them. We've already seen how ICE conducts itself. These are untrained individuals when it comes to doing the current job that they have for the most part, let alone deploying them in close exposure and highly sensitive situations at airports across the country.
Siri, what's fear-mongering? Times 100? So he literally is saying that federal officers are going to go into airports that are completely chaotic because Democrats will not vote to fund the government. They've shut it down now twice in the span of 4 months. And he actually said that they could potentially brutalize or in some instances kill passengers in the middle of the airport. Again, Renee Good, the 2 people that were killed by ICE, Renee Good ran her car into an ICE agent and they responded. This ICE agent was dragged just a couple months before that by somebody in a car who would not get out of their car, like Renee Good would not. So when you run into an ICE officer, and I don't care what degree you run into them, once the car hits them in any way, shape, or form, and in this case, this ICE officer had internal bleeding from being struck in the hip, you have to defend yourself because you don't know if this person is going to finish the job or they have a deadly weapon. It's 2 tons. It's called an SUV. That's what Renee Good had in Minneapolis. And then as for Alex Preddy, this guy comes armed and repeatedly got into confrontations with ICE officers and even to the point where they were physical. And at some point when someone sees a gun and yells gun, then something bad's going to happen. So don't give me this crap like Hakeem Jeffries is, that ICE officers are just going to go into airports and just turn it into a turkey shoot, just start picking off passengers at their will. And that's the way they're demonizing these officers because they are completely out of options here.